So, I don't know if I should really speak right now because I know what I want to talk about, but I don't know how to talk about it. Um, Islam, you know, it's it is a big problem because I'm God and Islam is supposed to all be about worshipping God and doing what Allah's will is and stuff. And it's like, I'm God and I don't actually agree with anything in the Islamic belief. I don't support Muhammad. I don't support his beliefs. I hate Islamic clothing. I hate pretty much everything about it. You know, it's all about being submissive to God, but I'm God and I don't believe that any of you are submissive to me. Um, so how to handle it is the best is the situation. You know, I feel like it's easy to deal with Christians. I'm Christ. You say I'm Christ, and you see who believes me. Um, and then you take it in like a step that I don't know about Islam, because this world has no place for Islam. It really doesn't. You know, the idea that a woman should be raped for not wearing proper clothing, you know, proper clothing, jumper, t-shirts, if you want to show skin, if you want to look good, if you want to show your hair, there's absolutely nothing wrong with these things. And the idea that they don't believe that, you know, Allah teaches in a Quran, in a book that I didn't write, book that I have nothing to do with, that you have to wear modest clothing, be modest. To be honest, walking around with a tablecloth on you is not modest. There's nothing modest about that. That's ridiculous and crazy. And yeah, it's not anything that I want to support. But how do I handle this? I'm God. You don't know anything about God if you don't know that I'm God. And if their whole belief is about, oh no, we're doing what God's will is, well, it's I'm God and you're not doing my will. You know, would it be just a case of me coming and saying I'm God, and if you worship Muhammad, then you don't know anything about me because I don't support that guy. I don't think it's fine to have multiple wives. I mean, technically, you can marry whoever you want, and if you want to get a divorce easy, it should be. I have nothing to do with marriage, really. Marriage has got nothing to do with me. Should you marry kids? No, 100% not. You know, I think 15 is 15 can be a bit of a question mark, because I know some people in countries die when they're very young, but is it right to have kids that when you're 15? No, because you're not mature enough to look after them, and therefore having sex or marrying people should only come at a time where they have enough money and funding and degrees to look after themselves, have enough to get a job. Everything in Islam I don't believe in. You know, the idea that women shouldn't work, shouldn't be educated. This is it's horrible. It's horrible and it's nonsense. And if you really wanted to serve God, I should just need to go on some sort of screen, say this, and therefore you should convert. I'm no longer Islam. I'm supporting God. I believe this girl is God because I can sense it in my head. I can sense it in my feeling. I can sense it about, you know, I do not want to be respectful towards people who have rejected Christianity, because I don't accept that either. But there is some very big flaws in Islam, and if you haven't noticed that, why haven't you noticed that? Why do you think that wearing sheets is considered proper clothing? Like it's not. It's not proper clothing at all. And why do you think women shouldn't work? Why do you think women shouldn't be educated? What other things in Sharia law is there? I don't know. Things like not getting tattoos. Nothing really wrong with that. People can do what they want with their bodies. Not being gay. Why should someone being gay have any effect to your life? I don't know. the I know that there are a lot of Islamic people who think there's absolutely nothing wrong with shagging a 12-year-old, and I think the reason why they feel this way is because most Islamic people are on their first or second life. That's truly what I believe. If you're an Islamic person, you are someone who thinks that the divide between male and female is completely fine, and the reason why you think this is because you haven't had that many lives, hence you've not experienced being that many opposite sex. Now, if you haven't been experienced that many different lives, it's because you probably haven't had that many lives. And if you're someone who is more evolved, you know, you probably have had many lives, and it's a shame that you have to attack a 12-year-old to get sex. But I feel like mentally a lot of Islamic people are not very evolved, and they're not very grown, and therefore that 12-year-old is probably far more older and more mature than the adult that thinks it's fine to have sex with a 12-year-old. You know, I see it from that perspective, which is that the reason why, you know, you're attracted to something that's similar to you, and therefore if you are an adult, a 80 or 40-year-old man who's attracted to a 12-year-old, I think that's because your mind is still thinking and acting and behaving like a 12-year-old. And I think if I say things, if you see it from that perspective, it doesn't make things better, but it makes it, I guess, more understandable. You know, there's some people have been posting where they've been catching paedophiles, and you know, I know not to judge too many things, because sometimes people can get things wrong. You know, sometimes people can talk to a 12-year-old and then they've been accused of something that it's taking it further when maybe it didn't, and I don't know what the case is. But I know that anyone that's attracted to any guy that would be attracted to a 12-year-old does so because they are mentally still a child inside themselves. But yeah, is it more than just sex? I don't know what the truth is. It would be easy to take something that's not the truth, and it would also be easy for parents to say, we hate Muslims, we've got a 12-year-old daughter, go to the police officer, say all this happened, we'll create a stir, and we'll get these Muslim beasts out of our country. You know, if you're a hater towards Islamic people, you know, even something like that, you might be able to get your children to make up lies and report it to the police in hopes of creating this stir, in hopes of getting rid of these people from England, you know. So because of this, I do not want to take sides, because I don't want to incite hate that isn't the truth. But I feel like I'm just so overwhelmed with so many people that lie that it's best to try and know that there are two sides of the story. Are these real stories, real cases, or are these parents that hate Muslims, they're getting their children to make up stories with the intent and purpose of trying to get rid of Muslims from this country, and to try and build up hatred? You know, if you there are loads of 50-year-olds who weren't raised up with Islamic people in their country, and it's getting higher and higher. And because Islamic people love to have more and more kids, you know, if they come to England and decide to have 12 kids, they'll do that, and the governments, you know, they give so much money. It's really strange how America charge £36,000 to have a baby in a hospital, and yet in England they'll give you £36,000 for every child you have. Why is this so different? Why is one paying you to have kids and the other one charging you huge amounts for one night in a hospital? I mean, I feel like there's something very wrong. Or is that even the truth? I don't know. Maybe she did have quite a big room in the hospital, but I don't know. I don't understand money, and I don't understand how someone could I don't know how some people could have so much of it and yet be so young. I can't seem to make any money. But yeah, I'm annoyed, you know, because I hate the idea of Muslims coming to England and then and then using, I don't know, sick obsessions or sick desires as a way of just hurting the English people. But I also know that there are plenty of English people that hate the idea of them coming, and might be deliberately stirring up troubles, getting lies to be said when it's not the truth. And I know that there are plenty of 12-year-olds that might also be wanting to gain attention, you know. And you can't just say, "Oh, look, you're turning 12-year-old victims into accusing them of being liars." Yeah, well, sometimes they are liars, and that's just what you always need to recognize. So, you know, I don't want to be on. I want to be on the side of truth, but I feel like with so many lies going on that I can't believe anything. And because I can't believe anything, it's like I don't know what to think. I don't know whose side to be on, or what side to support, or but I hate the Muslim clothing. I really hate the Muslim clothing. I really do. And I think the better solution would be to think how to solve the problem. And there's an obvious way of solving the problem, because Islam the people who serve and worship Islam, you know, they want to worship God. They want to worship a real God. So is the case of just giving them the real God, e.g. me, showing them the proof that I'm God. You know, on one hand, I don't want to be seen too powerful, because I want the Christians to believe in the rapture and think that there's a way into heaven. But on the other hand, I also, you know, I want to expose the truth about me being God, and see which Muslims believe, and which, you know, which are the believers. The Muslims want to. There is something good in the Islamic culture, which is, you know, it's the non-believers die. And well, I am God. If you don't believe in me, then you are the non-believer. And the Muslims want this test just as much as the Christians do. I think the Christians, though, are mostly just seeking Jesus, and you know, I don't want to be hateful towards people that might believe me. But I am God, and whether you are a believer or not, it depends on whether you believe in me. And if you believe in me, if I told you that I don't really like the white garments or the black garments, I don't like it. It's division. It's wrong. And there's nothing wrong with looking good. There's nothing wrong with exposing your hair. You know, this is my law. This is my truth. These are my laws. I don't care what laws your Quran says. That is not my book. I am God, and I'm telling you that the Quran is not my book. Now, how many people would believe me and become an actual believer? I don't know. But I know it's important that I don't want to turn against Muslims. I don't. But I'm seeing tons of stuff on X that just in the last few days that are very anti-Islamic, and I agree if what they're saying is the truth, but I don't know if what they're saying is the truth. So that's the problem that I'm in. You know, you shouldn't have sex with 12-year-olds. Duh. But are the stories true? Is the case? I don't know.